Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now, I haven't had such good luck with the S9 Plus, but Pixel 2 XL lasts longer than both of these phones right here when you're actually using the phone. Now, standby time is still amazing on iPhones, but standby time on the Pixel 2 XL is amazing as well. I actually went to bed the other day with 93% on the Pixel 2 XL, woke up and that thing was still on 93%. I never seen that on an Android phone. So if you want the best battery life on an Android phone, you should seriously consider the Pixel series because, you know, Google's doing some stuff in the background to make sure that Pixel battery just lasts and lasts and lasts. And that's comes down to the optimization when you do get a pure Android device here. So when it comes purely to battery life, I still have to give the win over here to the Android side, May 2018. Now, I just want to quickly brush over security. Encrypted out of the box, iPhones are some of the hardest phones to break into, to hack. Look at any studies online. Just do a quick Google search. Which phone has better security, iPhone or Android? You're going to see iPhone winning on almost every article that you do come across. Studies have shown that the Android system is just a little bit more vulnerable than the iPhone system. Now, the Pixel 2 XL, with its continuous security updates and patches straight from Google, is probably one of the more secure phones you can buy. So I wouldn't be too worried about using a Pixel 2 XL or a Samsung device with the built-in Knox. But I'm talking about all those other littler manufacturers, you know, or cheaper phones. That's really where you're going to be a little bit vulnerable on the Android side of things. Not so much on the flagship end, but still the iPhone overall, you can buy an iPhone at any price point and you could rest assured that the security game is going to be strong here. So if you're going straight for, I want a secure phone, I don't want to be dealing with viruses and I'm afraid of those things, then you probably want to get an iPhone. You're going to be happier there. Now let's quickly brush over hardware. What I mean by that is screen size, quality, cameras, and specs basically. And here's where Android is still ahead. So Android still has better specs, you know, spec for spec. If you compare an iPhone to an Android phone, you're going to find better specs on a spec sheet for Android phones. But does that really matter in the real world? Not really, because of the optimization again of iPhone really does keep up with the Android side, even though it has quote unquote lesser specs. Sans the A11 Bionic. The A11 Bionic chip is better than pretty much any Android phone, but spec for spec, the iPhone 10 is definitely really caught up to Android phones. But you know, an 8 Plus might seem inferior on paper. It's still really not, because the processing power is at MacBook level on the 8 Plus. And overall, I think if you're just looking for pure specs, of course, it's going to be the Android phone. It's going to offer you more features and specs in one package than an iPhone will. Let's quickly talk about resale value. Now, I just got this red iPhone 8 Plus due to the fact that I sold my white one. Now, when I sold my white iPhone 8 Plus, this thing sold in 20 minutes. That's how fast I sold and flipped this iPhone 8 Plus white that I had to get this red one, because I really do like the red color better. And I just basically swapped it out, sold the white one, got the red one. Now, basically, that goes to show you in 20 minutes how, you know, in demand iPhones really are. I mean, these things are hot commodities, even here in 2018, even though many people say the iPhone's getting lame, it's getting old, who cares really about iPhone? A lot of people do say these things. The sales don't really show that. Now, if you go to resell a Galaxy S9 in like 2 years, you're going to lose, like, its value is just going to plummet. Like, already you can get a 64 gig S9 for like $200 cheaper than launch price, and it's only been out 2 months. Now, imagine 1 year later, $300-$400. That's a hard pill to swallow when you are using, you know, you are going to pay about $800 for a Samsung now. And then when you go to sell it, you're only going to get about $300-$400 back. That doesn't feel very good. Whereas when you buy an iPhone a year later, you can get $500-$600 back. You feel like, oh my God, I basically just sold the phone for the same price I bought it for. Well, I can get this new phone for not much more. So resale value, hands down to the iPhone in May 2018. So I want to talk about another category, ease of use. I think that the iPhone is still the easier phone to use. It's still, again, some people find Android easier to use depending if they're used to a certain platform, but I still think iPhone is easier to use than Android once you actually get into it and start using it. It's just a grid of icons. You go into settings, your settings are right there. There's nothing really to do. You just change your icons around, change your wallpaper, you're done. Use your phone. That's iPhone. Over here on the Android, you get into the system, you start using all these features, you're going to get lost in the settings menu on a Samsung device, guaranteed if you're a first-time Samsung user. Over here on the Pixel, things are a little more simple, but still it can get a little bit convoluted if you start downloading launchers, themes, things like that, which any Android phone can run. One one easy win for the Android phone is cost of entry. I'm going to go back to this Honor 7X. You can get a premium feeling Android phone for 1/5 the price of an iPhone 10. Also, you can get these other premium Android phones for still way less than an iPhone. So the cost of entry to get into the Android ecosystem and still getting great hardware is much lower than the iPhone, but keep in mind that resale value. So if you've been paying attention to this whole video, it's basically a 4-4 draw with one tie amongst all the areas we talked about. But I have to give the iPhone the win here in May 2018 for one critical aspect, and that is support. If you can go to any Apple store, you're likely going to get support on your iPhone if anything does go wrong. And that is one critical factor that I think every other Android manufacturer that is at least competing with Apple should take a look at. Specifically, I think Google needs it a lot because they're not really, selling a lot of phones right now. So it'd be nice if they got some stores out there that would really, push that forward. Samsung, again, they have stores, but just not too much in the US over here. And that would help them out a lot as well. But the support factor on iPhone is just crushing it right now. And for that reason, I do give the iPhone a slight edge over Android in May 2018. Now, I've done videos like this before, and this is always subject to change. This is just how I feel in May 2018. But this probably is not going to change for the foreseeable future, at least until later this year when we see what the Note 9 does. If Samsung can really beast on this notch game and come out with an all-screen, be the first to come out with an all-screen S10, that will be amazing. But until then, this is how I feel at this current point. I will give you another update maybe 6 months down the road on the same kind of topic here. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. And one bonus mention, iPhone seems to be the leader when it comes to the phone game right now. And here's why. Except for Samsung, who's anti-Apple basically, everybody seems to be copying, Apple's notch, and they think it's cool. Like, oh, OnePlus 6 is gonna drop the notch. Let's see how consumers respond to this. LG G7 ThinQ just announced this morning it's got a notch. P20 Pro has got a notch. So I do love the P20 Pro, but at the same time, Apple comes out with the notch like this kind of, trend-setting notch right here, and all these Android manufacturers follow. So it really shows who is the leader here in the smartphone market if you're looking up to this company to make your own phone. And that lack of innovation, that lack of ambition is very disappointing, considering that, Android phones in the past seemingly were always like pushing the boundaries when it comes to specs, hardware. Now a lot of them are looking at Apple and thinking that they can't design their own phone. So that's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. If you found this video helpful, enjoying, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. What do you think? iPhone or Android phone, May 2018? I'd love to hear from you. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming updates. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well and paid.